When Viola invited us here, I immediately knew that I needed to do this project with Tania because we have both been doing things on the global stage, and yet, she's been doing it mostly through for-profit work, I've been doing it mostly through nonprofit work, but we've been able to find a rhythm that has helped us take our work around the world. So one thing that we want to make sure that all of you come away with from our discussion today is that you know that going global is completely within your reach.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Marianne represents a global women, and you know that for a fact. She and we know how to collaborate, and I think this stage is the proof of it, where that there's I say that girls compete but women collaborate, and I have to say this is something that I have found in my sister and traveling the world and also finding projects. So I'm very happy to be here. Marianne?
Thank you. One of the things that I wanted to emphasize in terms of looking at the whole world stage, really think about the fact that everyone in this audience right now, every one of you has a cell phone in your pocket. You know what that means? That means you have access to more information and the ability to send your voice around the world than kings and queens and presidents and prime ministers ever had in most of world history. Most of the women in here are educated. Most of the women in here are literate. That means that you are in the top percentage of what women have had the capacity to do throughout the history of humanity. If you combine all that, you are some of the most empowered women in this world. So really sit with that and think about that. You are some of the most empowered women who have ever walked the face of this earth. So when you think of it like that, and you look at the world stage and what is out there potentially for you right now, it is just a matter of getting out of the lockbox of your own mind and saying, I can go global, just by taking a chance.
Taking the chance to solve the problem that we are facing right now. I remember being in Japan as a part of my discovery to introduce the Zen gardens into green architecture. And as you know, I travel also different places in search for solutions. I do mainly architecture. They call me an eco-conscious architect. And the reason is because I feel very comfortable hugging a tree. I do, seriously. How many of you feel comfortable in nature? Well, 100%. We've been in the pyramids in Egypt, in the pyramids in Mexico, and every single time that I look into the ancestors and the way that they were landing the knowledge from traditional medicine, from healing practices, I know one common thing. They look at nature and they learn out of it. So I had to go to Japan by myself on a solo trip, and when I landed in Tokyo, I just didn't know what is going to happen here, but I had an intention. Who has a true intention, a vision that no one can take away from you? And if you don't have it, it's time for you to have that intention today. Because I remember being in Japan, and my intention was to travel the country to get to an island where I could have a forest bath. And understand the concept of being immersed into that energy of nature, and understand all the Japanese culture and bring it to Mexico. That is what globalization and innovation looks like in my life.
One of the beautiful things that Tania did, and that I just thought was outstanding, is in the Yucatan, they have these beautiful paths that the Maya used to rely on. And they would put this stone, basically this ground of stone that reflected the moonlight, so the Maya could find their way to the rainforest in the middle of the night. And so now when you start going through the forest, sometimes you come across this beautiful pathway, and you can tell it's man-made, but it's other than that, it's just new in. And instead of doing what so many developers do and going in and just throwing a foundation on it and ignoring, she went and took what the Shinto had done with their Zen gardens and brought it into what was naturally there. So it wasn't just a matter of transplanting Japan. It was a matter of saying, what did they innovate on that side of the world that could be appropriate and help us on this side of the world? And I think that's something that people need to look at. When I've gone, to Japan or I've gone to Austria, one of the simple things I've seen is if you see an escalator, guess what? It doesn't move until someone's on it. The rest of the world has the technology to understand, a motion detector. The rest of the world has technology to do it, but we don't do it. So, that's what it means by going global. What innovations lie on the other side of the world that you can bring back to your part of the world, or vice versa, that is something new?
Yes, and that brings us to the second part of it. Once you have identified the problem, now you have to act upon it. And that's something that my company, Green Habitat, in the profit side, and Marianne's company, the Memnosyne Institute, in the non-profit part, have been able to learn very well. Because you have a vision, you have a true intention, and now you use all your energy. And if you don't know anything about it, you go and find the research, you do whatever it takes, but you land it, because nothing in this world would be changed if you don't act upon it. And this is the part where you, as females, and go and embrace every single person in your family, need to come across and give to this world. Because this world is only created by the amount of energy that you have to change it. And it is upon you, 100%. Marianne has a project that has been revolutionary the industry on, and the hope on no waste, specifically in food. And it's some of the projects like that make me understand that there's so much that you can learn from one edge to the world and land it in another edge of the world. And every one of us can learn from every single person how to discover or reuse. Because sometimes it's not about innovating something that it's not being invented. Sometimes it's just about getting an idea, act upon it, and go ahead and implement it, like Marianne did in the food source.
Yes, what Tania is referring to is a project that we have within the Memnosyne Institute. It's called Food Source DFW, and it's a reflection of how people are doing things right now in our world. I don't know how many of you realize if a banana isn't curved enough, if it's too straight, guess what? Most of the time, it ends up in a food dump because grocery stores will not sell a banana that's too straight. Now, if you're starving, you don't care how straight or curved your banana is. You just want the banana. So what we've learned to do by being able to go and work with all these different institutions, whether they're for-profits or non-profits, we had to spend 3 years working with corporations and saying, donate your food to us. We had to work 3 years working with every homeless pantry and homeless shelter and food pantry in our area and saying, trust us. And what that came down to is we had to get people out of the mentality of seeing someone who has shared similar interests was a competitor. If you think you share something similar to someone, instead of looking at it as a competitor, say, no, we're a potential collaborator. When you do that, suddenly your personal infrastructure and ability to make that big impact quadruples. We are now the leading entity fighting food waste in the entire country of the United States. We were able to redistribute $3 million worth of food just by March of this year alone. That tells you how much would have ended up just in the dumpster. And it all came about by helping people go, if I think I'm going to be a competitor with you, guess what? I can actually find a way to be a collaborator with you.
And that is just an example of how much we can do for the world, from food that is being wasted just because it's not perfect, to one project that I'm right now doing as a part of my passion as an eco-conscious architect, that the way they call me. It's Vita Tulum. It's an eco-luxury village by Green Habitat. And I want to say this project is very important because nowadays, some of the builders are going to places where they just trash and completely destroy the jungle. And the ecocides and everything that is happening around the world, because this is not just a problem of Mexico or the Caribbean or Texas, Dallas, every single part of the continent and the globe is experiencing destruction by the hands of humans. So we have to be conscious about how much one species is destroying thousands and millions of others that where the old knowledge is. Because you know that in the Amazon forest in Brazil lie a lot of the healing trees and plants that are our future as a humanity. So why not to trust that instead of destroying the jungle, we can do a concept of integration. In the previous slide, you saw two bodies. Thank you. Two bodies connected with one bridge. I want to challenge you today to become that bridge. In the project in Vita Tulum in the Caribbean, I'm designing one building that represents the globalization, the old, the new world, the opportunities today with the internet, with the Wi-Fi, the connectivity. And then in the green area, it's the connection of the old world, which is the old knowledge, the Maya culture, the Aphrodite in this island, all what we can actually get from the past and bring into the present. But not only that, the environment, the restoration, the regeneration of our story. So all I'm asking you is to integrate and connect through the bridge and make that's part of the solution.
One of the main things that I want to make sure to leave you guys with today is to really understand that nothing is impossible. I'm standing before you today as someone that at the age of 25 is able to get 45 spiritual leaders to Dallas to actually come together and decide what are 10 essential truths they could share. I'm someone that was able to get the first treaty in 300 years signed between Hopi and Navajo nations. All of these things were things that someone said to me at one point in time, that's impossible. We've been able to spread our organization around the world in between having an international chapter in Israel, Palestine, having an international chapter in Japan, having cultural centers in Mexico. We've been able to do work that people said would not be possible between indigenous tribes and different museums. Every time someone has said it was impossible, we were able to do that because we went in there with a couple of questions. What is it you want that you haven't been able to achieve this far? How can I become an instrument to help you get that far? And then looking at the whole entire globe as the potential resource for how to bring that possibility forward. And I can tell you right now, whatever it is any one of you are dreaming of doing that you think is absolutely out of your range, if I, at 25 years old, could do something like help negotiate the first treaty in 300 years, guess what? Anything is possible for anything you guys are doing. I was just speaking with Tania earlier, and I was saying, I'm 42 now, and if I was talking to myself as a 20-year-old person, what would I say to her? And I was thinking, God, thinking about the lack of confidence, the hope, and everything. And now, today, as someone who has a hearing loss and travels around the world and has spoken in places like the White House and House of Lords, et cetera, I would have never dreamed that was possible. But by going out there and finding my value came from being able to take that step, failing, getting up, doing it again, failing, getting up, doing it again. That allowed me to discover the only thing that limited me was just my imagination. It is that simple. So at a Women's Creative Conference, the thing that I want to most leave you all with is you are only limited by your imagination and your capacity to go out there and take that chance, be willing to fail and get up again.
And Marianne also shared that for her, speaking in the world was so important for her to gain the confidence that she can do it. And how many of us also sometimes see women that we decide to put in our concept, oh, how successful that person is, how amazing that person is, because we see qualities, but we really sometimes don't understand the doubt or the self-doubt or everything that is going in the conscious. And for me, I want to share that it's about the breakthroughs that I've been having in my life. Sometimes when I just feel that I am completely not modeled for the situation, or I have that fear within me that wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning, not really understanding how am I going to do it? From finances to marketing to really landing a concept or just family life. How many of you have been waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning worried about how the future looks? I am that person too. And what I have to say is that is not my stopping point. My stopping point is my head only. And if I wake up every day and I determine myself to make a breakthrough on what I need, then I will assure you that every day will be a new day for you. Renew yourself, trust yourself, and most important, land the plan that you wanted. Nothing without action is going to be possible. Go through the breakthroughs. I know those are painful. Yeah, if you need to cry, cry, but celebrate. Because when you need to celebrate, the best on celebrating is always about being best in the moment. Stay present And I will guarantee that you will actually bring a lot of good to your family and to yourself, to your bodies. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
We still have 3 minutes actually. Can we have one question? Do you want one question?
Any questions?
Any question? Any question?
Well, we also wanted to offer some gifts because I know that there is a lot to put together. Obviously, it's years and years of research. But Marian and I, we want to collaborate with you on we are offering 3 sessions, but via Skype because usually we are not. This is a miracle that we are in the same place at the same conference because usually we are very spread among like different parts of the globe. But we were talking about if any of you wants to feel that there's value on following up, but we will be so happy to coach you, the 2 of us together in a Skype session.
I'd be happy, I've been able to speak, TED Talk and all sorts of things. I'm happy to help you all with speaking and public speaking.
And I really have a for-profit business, so it's about not only making the dream, but making money and profit while you make the dream, because finances are a very important part of it, and also make sure that you have enough a solid ground to the next project, because it's not only a short vision but long vision. So please, 3.
Okay, so they were 5, but now there's 4.
Well, we're going to put your name in a paper and then.
The first she was Elena, Sandra.
I know this hand went up first. I saw her. It went straight up.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming.